What Nerdigans? This is the one and only Packer Girl 89, and today's book Nerdigan discussion is going to be on Passion by Lauren Kate. This is the third book in the Fallen series. If you have not read Fallen or Torment or Passion, or have watched the book Nerdigan discussions on Fallen and Torment, why the commie and Arceus are you here? Seriously, go read the books, go watch the videos, and then come back so we can talk about them. And yes, this book is part of my hashtag AngelReadAthon, so yeah, parts of this book, the parts of the mythology of this book will be included in the Ultimate Book Nerdigan rant. So yeah. And as with my other books, book Nerdigan discussions, it's mainly going to be on the mythology. Yes, we're going to focus on mainly the angel mythology of this book. And here's the cover of Passion. It's so beautiful. Yes, it is. I love it. So let's get to it. So this prologue is a little bit different. So we have a Sophia Bliss chapter, which is pretty interesting because we haven't seen Sophia Bliss since Fallen. So here we get a little bit of background on her too. So she's with the youngest of the elders of Zamalium, Lyrica, who's 136 years old at the Kentucky Derby. And there used to be 24 elders at the peak of Zamalium, which is basically a cluster of mortals, immortals, and a few trans-eternals like Sophia herself. In an axis of knowledge and passion and faith, with a single uniting goal: to restore the world to its pre-lapsarian state, the brief, glorious moment before the angels' fall. For better or worse, it was written plain as day in the code they'd drawn up together and had each signed, for better or for worse. And apparently, the elders are going against their own code. They are all resigning in fear of the wrath of the scale. And the elders' charge was to parole the fallen, not the righteous, groundling angels such as Roland Sparks and Ariane Alter. As long as one did not defect from heaven, one was free to sway a little. Desperate times practically begged for it. And 12 elders remained. Sophia, secretary on the Zamalium board, was now the highest official among the elders. 9 of the remaining 12 couldn't be trusted. And then we have an outcast girl that shows up. And what Sophia says this: our collaboration ended when your cohorts failed to retrieve the girl. No amount of bitter blabber from the one who calls himself Philip will change our minds. Everyone knows the outcasts aren't to be trusted. And the outcast says, we are not here on business with you. You were but a vessel to get us closer to Lucinda. We remain uninterested in collaborating with you. And Philip says, no one cares about your organization these days. And Cam was supposed to be at this meeting, and he didn't show up at all. And a mysterious man who is totally Lucifer. Let's just face it, it's totally Lucifer. And he said, where is Cam? He was sent an invitation. And Lyrica says, probably playing God inside the announcers like the rest of them. Playing God, did you say? That's what Lucifer says. And after Sophia explained the situation, dare I ask why none of you elected to go after her? Silence. Spare me your excuses. They no longer matter, as you no longer matter. Too much at stake. I can't leave anything else to chance. The time has come for me to take matters into my own hands. The rest of you will stay out of this. That is all. And then in Sophia's ear, he says, your time on this endeavor is up. Do not dare get in my way. And he leaves like a hoof print on the bench behind them. It was so freaking eerie. It was crazy shit. So the first place in time that we go to is Moscow and it was October 15, 1941. And it's watching Lushka spontaneously combust, and of course it's after kissing Daniel while the Nazis invaded Moscow. And then it's off to another announcer, and she went post talking to Daniel. And then we get I love the format. We get a Daniel chapter right after each Luce POV chapter, and he's just so freaking close to catching up to her. He misses her by 5 seconds or something like that. And it was so awesome when Daniel said to Daniel to go get her. It was great. And then the next stop was Milan, May 25th, 1918. And this part. This was in World War I, and it was the nurse taking care of Daniel. This was mentioned in Fallen. He mentioned this one in Fallen. Daniel mentioned this lifetime. And Luce learns that she has to learn about the curse, including the loopholes, on her own. And of course, Daniel disappeared after that, and Luce was helping in surgery after she got dragged off because Giovanni was smitten with her. And then, time for the next announcer jump right after that. And Daniel keeps missing her by minutes. It's freaking hilarious. And then, it's Helston, England it's June 18th, 1854, and Luce is in the in-between, and she meets Bill, who takes the form of a small gargoyle. And what Bill says about the scale, he says they're sort of like hall monitors within the announcers who make sure travelers get where they're going. Members of the scale are impartial, so there's no siding with heaven or hell. And Bill says on why this announcer is different. If it is, it's only because that's what you want it to be. If you want a rest stop type cave inside of announcer, it appears for you, but you needed one. Announcers can pick up on that. Also, I was here helping out, wanting it on your behalf. The inside of an announcer isn't any place at all. It's a neverwhere. The dark travelers, so long as they're inside. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, the dark echo cast by something in the past. Each one is different, adapting to the needs of its travelers so long as they're inside. Within announcers, real time doesn't pass at all. But still, you don't want to hang around here too long. You could forget where you're going, get lost forever, become a hoverer. And that's ugly business. These are portals, remember, not destinations. And Bill says this, think of why he wants to help her. Think of it as a volunteer position. I'm good at announcer travel is all. No reason to spread my expertise around. Okay, first thing you ought to know is that the announcers are summoned to you and based upon what's going on in here. They're kind of a little like sharks drawn by your deepest desires. So when you step through, the announcers that seem to quiver before you, begging you to pick them up, they funnel you to a place your soul longs to be. As strange as it may feel, they're a part of you. And Bill's explanation, I don't mean to be political, it's kind of like Trump, because he says, I'm Bill, I know things. So it's just like, yeah, that's kind of like something Trump would say. It just is. And Daniel on the Fallen, such as Cam, that was a gift of those who thrown in with Lucifer. They had a talent for traveling through the shadows of the past. So apparently Lucinda had slapped Daniel so many times over the years that Ariane kept a tally in a spiral notebook marked "You're fresh." I thought that was hilarious. I was just like, wow. So now they're in Helston, and then we get a Daniel POV, and then in Tahiti, and this is December 11, 1775, and you have to say, like, come on, Luce. How is that not love when Daniel is taking the tattoos like a champ? And then we go to Prussia, and this is January 7th, 1758. Luce is attending her own funeral, basically Lucinda Mueller's funeral. And poor Daniel, he sleeps until the next incarnation. Like, he's sleeping in the fucking snow. And this is until the next incarnation of Luce is settled into a new life. And then they go back even further to Lhasa, Tibet, and this is April 30th, 1740. After this version of Luce dies, they didn't even touch. Like, they didn't even touch. That is freaking shenanigans that she died and they didn't even fucking touch. Daniel jumps off the mountain trying to kill himself. Like, he broke every bone in his body and he can't die. It's gonna, like, from what Bill says, it's gonna be a painful heal, but he's not gonna die. Like, that sucks. I'm sorry, that just sucks. And Cam could have fucking stopped Luce, and he didn't. And then Versailles and France in February 14, 1723, Luce went what Bill calls 3D, or basically cleaving. Or basically, she went into her past self's body, and like everything was extremely intense, and she got to kiss Daniel too, which is pretty awesome, and felt herself kind of die too. So Paris and France in December 1st, 1723, Daniel's past self is in prison and has told present Daniel, Shelby, and Miles have passed through. And then June 29, 1613, in London, England, well, apparently Luce started the fire at the Globe when she burned up. Yeah, they were actors, and Luce was disguised as a guy, and Daniel and Luce were friends with Shakespeare, and that was another event that Daniel mentioned too. And I think he mentioned the Tahiti one too in Fallen, if I remember correctly. And then the next one, oh, here it is. Central Greenland Winter 1100. The meeting of the fallen light dark angels to try and persuade Daniel to pick a side. He cleaved with his past self and declared to the heavens that he chooses Lucinda over everything. And then in Chinchian, it's Mesoamerica, and this is 555 CE. Daniel's glory, true angel essence, killed an entire Mayan tribe because Luce was going to be sacrificed. She was. Or Luchin, I should say. She was going to be sacrificed. And another Mayan tribe, after they discovered the tribe, or what remained of the tribe after that, they decided, because they were sacrificing by water. After another Mayan tribe discovered that, they decided to sacrifice by fire after that. So Daniel's glory shows every time Luce and him get hot and heavy. And then now we're at Jerusalem, Israel 27 Nisan 2760, or April 1st, 1000 BCE. Daniel was in a starshot duel with Miles so he could cleave his past self and send it back to where it came from. And Daniel says this: your Lilith, to Miles and Shelby, your Lilith might come from the same long line of evil women. They're all descendants of the original mother, Lilith. She was Adam's first wife. They weren't married very long when Lilith left him. It broke his heart. He waited for a long time, but eventually he met Eve. And Lilith never forgave Adam for getting over her. She spent the rest of her days wandering the earth and cursing the family Adam had with Eve. And her descendants, sometimes they start out all right, but eventually, well, the apple never really falls far from the tree. And Lilith, in this time, is getting married to Cam. And this is before Cam got the sunburst tat from Satan when he thrown in his lot with hell. And Cam can't get married in a temple, because if a fallen angel enters the sanctuary of God, the whole thing bursts into flames. So because Cam got dumped by Lilith, he chose the side of Satan. And yeah, demon wings are gold usually, and white and silver for everyone else. So now, where is it? Here we go. So Jerusalem, Israel, 27 Nisan, 2760, Daniel meets with the small angel of the scale. The scale were the only angels granted visions between announcers. And then Memphis, Egypt, autumn around 3100 BCE, like, thank Kami and Arceus, Lucy doesn't cleave her soul. And yes, Bill is the bad guy, and he reveals he's motherfucking Satan. And according to Satan, it took 9 days for the angels to fall. And it's time to go back to the very beginning when the angels fell. So what Satan's plan is I'm going to catch every last one of us. I'll open up an announcer like a great net, casting it to the forward's edge of time. Then I'll lead my old self and the spirit, the full host of angels into the present with me, even the ugly ones. We will be once more starting at the beginning, because the fall is the beginning. It isn't a part of history. It is when history begins, and all that has come before, it will no longer have happened. And then at Heaven's Gate, the fall, Roland was the angel of music and poetry, and Daniel is the angel of the silent watchers, which is interesting because remember in, what book am I thinking of? Oh, in Hush Hush, it was Jev was the Watchers, and in was the Angel of Watchers, and in Pemberton and the End of Days, it was Raphael was the Angel of the Watchers. Let's see, and Lucifer was the one who decided / created Daniel's curse, and this is what he said: she will die always and forevermore. She will never pass out of adolescence, will die and again and again and again at precisely the moment when she remembers your choice, so that you will never truly be together. And the throne agreed until present Daniel said this: I come here to beg clemency. If we must be punished, and my master, I do not question your decision. Please at least remember that one of the great features of your power is mercy, which is mysterious and large and humbles us all. Yeah, Daniel got you there, fucker. Sorry, God. He got you there. He really got you there, God. And the throne granted Daniel mercy, and this is what he said. If one day her soul comes into being without the weight of the sacrament having chosen a side for her, then she shall be free to grow and choose for herself to reenact this moment, to escape the ordained punishment, and in so doing to put the final test to this love that you claim supersedes the rights of heaven and family. Her choice then will be your redemption or the final seal on your punishment. That is all that can be done. And just as the angels fell, Daniel finally found Luz, and he caught her as she was falling. So now we're getting to the epilogue, and this is in Savannah, Georgia on November 27, 2009. So Daniel and Luz return to the modern day, and they go to the cabin that they stayed at right after she left Sword and Cross. Oh, and only a few hours have really passed since they left. And apparently it's a safe haven for the Fallen, which is pretty badass. So Cam and the others came to the cabin, and apparently Roland can read the announcers too. And so basically they have 9 days until history is erased. So it ends with this. So Daniel scanned the gathering of angels, the so-called demons, and the Nephilim. His gaze encompassed them all, his family. We're in this together then, all of us. All of us, at last, his eyes rested on Luz, and though she couldn't imagine tomorrow, Luz stepped into Daniel's arms and said, always. I love this book. This book, out of all of them, I want to say, like, even Rapture, and that I'm going to do pretty soon as well. This book is my, actually, Unforgiven is my favorite. This is my second favorite in the series, because we learned about Luz's past. And I loved it. And we finally have her discovering herself. She's trying to figure out, why do I love Daniel? Does Daniel really love me, or does he love the idea of me? And I love that she figured it out herself. She didn't need Daniel to figure it out for her. She figured it out herself. So I thought that was interesting. And I like that we got to see how Cam became a fallen angel. Or became a demon, excuse me. He's already a fallen angel. I like that we see how he becomes a demon, because that's going to be relevant in Unforgiven. We'll see it in Unforgiven, which is my favorite. Unforgiven is my favorite freaking book. We'll get to it. So I want to know what you nerdigans thought. What was your favorite time period that we saw Luz in? What did you think about how Lucifer showed himself, and how he was like, and how Bill deceived Luz like that? I'm curious. I want to know what you nerdigans thought. And was this your favorite book in this series? Like, if you've read the rest of the series, was this your favorite book in the series? I want to know. So remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Nerdigans Inc. And also, if you love what I'm doing, please donate to my Patreon and become a Nerdigan today. And also, if you want to see any more of the shenanigans I cause on the internet, go follow me on Twitter. That's in the description box below as well. And until next time, Nerdigans, I will be seeing you in Fallen in Love by Lauren Cates. Until next time, Nerdigans, bye!